Hello and welcome to our demo of MITRE ATT&CK and some associated resources. We have the main page of attack.mitre.org right here, and there's a lot to go through here. We're not going to go through every single link and how they all relate to each other. We're going to focus primarily on the matrices and the enterprise one specifically. I did want to mention before we dig into that is keeping track of the versions of MITRE. So at the time of this recording, v13 is the most recent one. Whenever MITRE updates their attack framework, a couple things could happen. They might be deprecating some techniques, they might be adding some in, or they might be, let's say, renaming them or adding some information to the technique. Okay. So digging into the matrices here, we're primarily concerned with the enterprise one for now. And how to read this matrix here on the very top, recon, resource development, all of these with TA and then some ID here. These are all your tactics, okay? And taking a look at the example we had from our theory slideshow, we have command and scripting interpreter, PowerShell. So everything under this execution tactic are techniques. And then expanding out the technique, you can see the PowerShell sub-technique here, and you can see how that ID changes as you scroll down the list. If you want some more information on what any particular tactic or technique is, you can just click into it. You'll get a rough description. Some techniques and tactics have more description and verbiage than others, but you can see when it was last modified. You can have a nice list of the techniques in here if you want something more verbose than just the matrices. But going back into this, let's look at, let's say, command and scripting interpreter. And it gives you a description of the technique. And if we want to dig into just PowerShell, we can click that sub-technique in here, and then we have a PowerShell-centric description here. One oddity I did want to mention is how to navigate this. So it might look like command and control is cut off right here, and it is. If you scroll to the left a bit, that's how you can get to the other two in here. It's a little convoluted sometimes. Doesn't always fit the screen. Their website could probably use a little bit better scaling or something along those lines. And that is the MITRE Enterprise Matrix. Another view that we have here is called the MITRE ATT&CK Navigator. And this is a more interactive way to work with the matrix here, where this is a point-in-time document that shows a specific version that MITRE has most recently released. You can use the navigator to help show the view from what's going on in your environment. So the easiest way to do this is to create a layer, and we care about the enterprise one. And it'll generate this, should be familiar matrix here. And this one fits a little bit better than the official documentation page, but we can start going through this here. So what we're going to do is pick the tactics and techniques used in our ransomware example. So first off, we have initial access, and then phishing, and then spear phishing attachment. Okay. So what we can do is click any given tactic or technique, and you can even shift click to highlight multiple things, and we can color code them. Let's say we're going to make it like a nice orange. And then execution, command and scripting interpreter. We have some PowerShell here, and then we're going to make this orange too. And then way over here for impact, maybe scroll a little bit over here. We have data encrypted for impact, and we can make that orange as well. Okay. And let's say you wanted to save this view for future use. What you would do is download layer as JSON right here. And that'll download a JSON file, which we will open. All right, looking at the file here, you can see it's a very structured JSON format. And what you'll notice is you'll have these techniques here with the color I picked. And this is how MITRE knows what to highlight, what color it should be. You can even pick more of a heat map. So let's say you can do out of 100 detections, if you have a min value of 10 or 0 even, make that red. And then your max value of 100 could be green to show that, oh, we have a lot of detection coverage in our environment. And there's all kinds of things you can do with the layers and Attack Navigator. But for now, with our basic example, let's say we want to give this to someone else to help demonstrate here is how the attacker got in. So we can hit open existing layer, upload from local. We're going to go with our layer.json right here. And there we go. We have a file that we can upload and have the view that we want. What's really nice, and we'll dig more into this in the future later in the course with our CI/CD pipeline, but you can dynamically create these JSON files based off your detections and have this populated automatically. And I just wanted to show you the basic functionality of how this works. All right, moving on to our next item here, we have the Center for Threat Informed Defense. I'm not going to really click through this website. You can go do that yourself, but it just gives some good information. And the key part that I wanted to show you all is their GitHub. So they have a lot of different projects that may or may not be useful for you. You can really click into any one of these and see what it has. So let's say you want to dig more into the attack workbench, let's say their front end. And they should have more documentation on what the objective of the project is, how it works, how to install it, how to run it, and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, next up is the MITRE Attack Defender program, or the MAD program. The cost right now is that $4.99 that I mentioned in the theory video. If we go into the curriculum section, you can see that there's certifications on particular cyber domains. So let's say you care about purple teaming methodology, you can take the training and do that certification there. Or let's say you care about threat hunting and detection engineering, like this course, you can take that training and certification as well. And also scrolling down, they do use cyber ranges. So there is a practical component to the training, something you might want to dive into more if, let's say, your company pays for it. All right, next up, we have the cyber kill chain. And like I said in our theory video, this is a less nuanced way to talk cyber threats. But going through step 1 through 7 here, we have reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, and actions on objectives. If you think about some more complex cyber threats and threat actor tactics and techniques, they don't always fit quite so neatly into these 7 steps, which is where the nuance kind of gets lost. But if you're in defense contracting, perhaps you might be more familiar with the cyber kill chain than you are with MITRE, but it's helpful to at least have a working knowledge of both, so you can talk the talk based off of whoever. Okay, and that concludes our brief demo of the MITRE matrix and some of the related resources. I want to thank you for your time, and I'll catch you in the next video.